Will you please cheer so much for Una McMahon?
Hi. Hello. So when I was younger, my dad was terrified that one of his daughters would get pregnant too early. But he always found it very difficult to talk to us about sex. So he would employ metaphors. One such metaphor was, Una, I want you to treasure the mysteries of life. What he was referring to in that situation was my virginity, and by the time he told me that, it was too late. But I found other things to treasure. In 2015, I worked on a project called Irish Design 2015. Irish Design 2015 has succeeded in its task of raising the profile of our vibrant and inventive Irish design sector, both at home and abroad. Michael D. Higgins. So we all remember Irish Design 2015, right? I sure do. It was during this I worked on a project called Celebrate Your Local Design Hero, where we asked libraries all over the country to celebrate their local design heroes, both dead and living. And we found some really interesting people. One of those people was John Philip Holland, who was a native Irish-speaking submarine designer who designed submarines for both the British and the American Navy. Wow. It was incredible. But what I kind of would like to think that when he was designing the submarines for the British Navy, that he just kind of did little fuck-ups on purpose. You know, just little things, nothing too bad, like maybe he would switch the toothpaste and the soap labels, or maybe he would ensure that like their tea would be really, really, really weak. Just little things like that. I also really love the idea of an Irish-speaking man on a submarine going, "She is, Suis, she is!" Just funny. He used to name the submarines after himself. So there was Holland 1, Holland 2, and Holland 3. And Holland 3 sunk in the Hudson River in 1883. I just think that has to be really bad for your ego to watch things you named after yourself sink. Lillian Bland was another lady that we discovered, and she was certainly not bland. She was a lady who designed, built, and flew her own airplanes in 1910 to 1911. She was fascinating. Her husband died, so she went to the Scottish Islands to take some photographs of birds, as you do, to recover from sudden death. And then she got a postcard from her uncle, who sent her a postcard of an airplane, and she's like, I'm going to build one of those. Luckily, though, it wasn't a postcard of a cake. Otherwise, we'd be talking about Lillian Bland's cakes. So she went back to Belfast and she built these planes, and her uncle set her up with a workshop, and she read all about the Wright brothers, and she did it. She flew planes. It was amazing. But her dad was like, no, that is not quite what I want a young lady to do. And he said, I'll buy you a car. And he bought her a car, and she set up a car dealership, and she married her cousin and moved to Canada. James Martin was another really interesting guy that we discovered. He worked with a guy called Capitan Valentine Baker, and they set up a company called Martin Baker, and that company specialized in ejection chairs. And they're the #1 manufacturer of ejection chairs in the world. And they have supplied us with an ejection chair, so someone in the audience might get blown out of the room today. Unfortunately, Cap 10 died on the 3rd test of their ejection chair. That was an MB3, but we've been told we have an MB4, so it's all Another amazing person that we discovered, and scientists, you know this guy, John, I'm sure I pronounced his name wrong, I'm so sorry about that, but John Tynell was an amazing scientific mind. He was brilliant. He's one of our oldest scientists, heroes that we celebrated in Irish Design 2015. I can't really tell you a lot about him because I'm not a scientist, and if I explain it, I will not do a good job on it. But I can tell you that he did prove the greenhouse effect. Some people are still struggling with that one. And he did work out why the sky is blue, which is important. The sky blue color results from the scattering of the sun rays by molecules in the atmosphere. I just said a collection of words I don't really understand. Then there is Joseph Spud Murphy, who founded the first roundabout in 1852 in Navan. Until that point, there were 3 roads that met, and there was a lot of horse and cart incidents where lots of potatoes were lost. This, of course, is a lie. But John Spud Murphy was the inventor of the flavoured crisp and founder of Tato. So, while I did not treasure my virginity, I treasure these stories because these stories are inspiring and they're magic and they're powerful. And that's what I treasure. That's my show.